Hello and welcome to Jim's Code Corner. My name is Jim Belcher, and let me first by welcoming you to my new channel. This channel is all about learning new technologies and integrating different technologies together. I'm literally going to let you guys drive what I demonstrate here. Um, but to get started, this first series is going to be about making a full stack application using Spring Boot and Angular 4. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, and I'll demonstrate here the application that we're going to be building. It is a simple to-do list. Uh, so as you can see here, I have a field I can enter in items. So I'll take out the trash. It adds it to the list below. I can go ahead and click one of those items, and maybe I made a typo. Take out the trash. I can update that. You can see it updates down here. And I can also delete it. As I mentioned, simple application, and that's what we're going to be building. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start by downloading Spring Boot, the application we're going to be building here. So here is a start.spring.io. Generate a Maven project with Java 1.57. I liked all that with the exception I'm more of a Gradle guy. So we'll go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to enter in my group, and I'm going to call it code corner dot my to do artifact my to do. And I'll skip to the full version so we can really see what this thing looks like. My to do list. That's fine. It's going to be a jar file. It's going to work as Java 8. That's all good. Here are these dependencies. Here they are all down here, and I can select different ones that I want to be using. And I'm just going to select the most basic ones. So web, and that's going to give me access to make RESTful APIs, which we will be doing. JPA, that's going to give us our access to the Java Persistence API, Spring Data, Hibernate, everything you can see right here, honestly. We're going to be using MySQL for this. In a later video, I'd like to incorporate something like Liquidbase or Flyaway just so we have some database migration, but for now, we'll skip that. I think that's all we need for now. Let me double check. As you can see, there's a lot of things here. Yep, that is all we're going to be using for now. So let's go ahead and generate that project. Ask me where I want to put it. I want to put it in my YouTube, Series 1, and we'll save that. And let's go ahead and view that in my folder, and we'll unzip that guy, and it's going to give me, there we go, my to-do. And it's got the Gradle file, some basic source files and everything. We'll see all that in a moment. So next step, let's go ahead and import this guy into my editor. I personally use, for Spring applications, STS or Spring Tool Suite, which is basically a version of Eclipse. I like to use it because it gives me all kinds of type hinting and whatnot work for Spring. So there's no reasoning for that. But you don't have to use it. You can use whatever you want. In any case, I'm just going to import this project in. Select, go into my desktop and into YouTube, Series 1. There's my project. Okay, and import. Okay, now we will have an application here. Simple as that, gives me all the files. If we go ahead and the build.gradle, we'll see all the things we selected there. We selected JPA, web, MySQL connector, and also comes with this starter test, which gives you like JUnit, Mytodo, and a couple other tools we can use for testing. And we will be doing that. So it is a Spring Boot application. It's basically right out of the box, ready to work with. It should just run. So let's see what happens. I'm going to kill my old application because I don't want the address already in use error. And I'm just going to go ahead and find this guy first. Slash users, jbelcher, desktop, YouTube, Series 1. Okay. Oh, I did nasty input like a space menu. Oh well. Alright. So I did that, but I forgot to prepend with a CD. Kind of an important command there. So what to do? Okay, here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and go into mytodo, and to run the project, all I got to do is go to Gradle, boot run, and we will watch as it does the build, and it will end up with a failure. And that is because we told it with JPA to connect to a database, but we never told it what database to connect to. So we need to create a database and give it some credentials in order to know what to connect to. So let's go ahead and start with here at the command line. We will do MySQL -u root. Don't judge me, it's my personal computer. And let's go ahead and put my password in there. So let's go ahead and create database, mytodo. There, we now have a database that's created. The next thing we're going to want to do is create a user that can use this thing and actually connect to here. I like to use MySQL Workbench. It's a nice little tool for connecting databases. So I add a new connection. Connection name is going to be mytodo. I want to connect to localhost 3306. Username can be root. That's fine. And mytodo. Let's go ahead and test that connection. Successful. Cool. And we'll go ahead and get into that guy. Here we are at mytodo. We see we have no tables. It's just empty guy. So let's go to users and privileges. We will create a new user. We will call it mytodo, which I know original, right? Password will also be mytodo in this case, just for simplicity. Administrative roles, it's going to be a DBA, that's fine. And apply. Of course, you might want to restrict this normally, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave this all right so I don't have to play with it later for you. Okay, so the next step, we can go back to the Spring Tool Suite, and we're going to look for a file called the application.properties file. And this file is used to put in some basic properties and settings that Spring Boot will use. One of which is going to be what database and how to connect to this database. So basically username and password. So I'm going to start with doing spring.dataSource. There's that type pending. One of the reasons I like to use STS. So I'm going to do com.mysql.jdbc.driver. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this first part because I'm going to be doing that a lot. Well, not a lot, but 4 times at least. .url. And that's going to equal jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost colon 3306 / mytodo. That's basically going to tell it where to connect and what database to connect to. Now we're going to do username. And if you remember correctly, I named that mytodo once again. And we also need a password. Password equals mytodo. Okay, I'm going to exit MySQL here. And let's go ahead and try to build again. Now that it knows what database to connect to, how to connect to it, and we actually have a database to connect to. And let's see what happens. All right, fantastic. Looks like it was able to build. It was able to connect to the database. And we can see here, it did all kinds of connections here in JPA and whatnot. Tomcat's running on port 8080 HTTP, and we see it's a started application. This will never reach 100%, so don't wait for it to get to 100%. Just look for this started application line here. And now let's see what it looks like when we actually try to run this in the browser. Localhost 8080. We get the white label error page because it's a 404 error because we're using a RESTful API. We don't have a endpoint to connect to, just / or an empty endpoint. So we're getting this 404 error, which is exactly what we want at this stage. So now that's all there is to setting up Spring Boot to run with the database. Now there are some more settings, and you'll probably see me add a few more as we go as needed. particularly when we start actually building a database, depending on if we build the database using MySQL Workbench or the command line, or we might just let Spring create it for us. We'll see how that works. Um, but that is all there is to setting up Spring Boot for this application. I hope this is helpful in helping you get started with Spring Boot. Um, Next episode, we're going to set up Angular 4, and we're going to download that and use the Angular CLI to do that and set that up real quick. Probably also going to be a very short video, and then the video after that, we'll actually start getting our hands dirty and really start coding. But that's all I got for you for this episode, and I hope you like it. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave any comments you have, suggestions on where we should take this thing, anything you want to learn about. Maybe I can create another video series, whatever. Don't be shy, and thank you.